The Poor Man and the Rich Man from 50 Famous Fairy Tales. In olden times, angels often took the form of men and walked the earth. While one of these was wandering about, night came upon him before he found shelter. At last he saw down the road ahead of him two houses standing opposite one another. One was large and handsome, while the other was miserably poor. The angel decided to ask for lodging in the large house, since it would be less burdensome for the rich man to entertain a guest. He knocked, and the rich man, peering out the window, asked the stranger what he sought. The angel replied, "I seek a night's lodging." Then the rich man looked scornfully at the stranger's ragged clothes and shook his head, saying, "I cannot take you in. If I sheltered everyone who knocks at my door, I might soon be a beggar myself. Find shelter in some other house." And he banged the window and locked it. The good angel immediately turned his back upon the large house and went over to the little house. Here he had scarcely knocked when the door was opened. The poor man took one look at the stranger and said, come in, stay here tonight. It is quite dark, and you can go no further today." The reception pleased the angel very much. The wife of the poor man also bade him welcome. Holding out her hand, she said, "Make yourself at home, good sir. Though we do not have much, we will gladly share it with you." Then she put some potatoes in the coals, and while they roasted, she milked her goat. When the table was laid and the good angel sat down and ate with the poor couple, the coarse food tasted good because such a warm welcome and went with it. After they finished eating, the wife called her husband aside and said, "Let us sleep on straw tonight and let this poor wanderer have our bed. He has been walking all day and is doubtless tired." The good angel at first refused to take the bed, but at last yielded to the entreaties and lay down on the soft feather mattress while they made a straw couch upon the floor. The next morning, the couple arose early and cooked their guest a breakfast of, of the best that they had. When the angel finished eating, he prepared to set out again. As he stood in the doorway, he turned around and said to his host, "Because you are so good and generous, you may wish 3 times, and each time I will grant you what you desire." The poor man replied, "Ah, what more can I wish for than eternal happiness, and that we too, so long as we live, may have good health and strength and our daily bread. For the third thing, I do not know what to wish." "Would you like a new house in place of this old one?" "Ah, yes," said the man. "If I may keep it in this spot, it would be welcome." The last wish fulfilled at once, and the old house became a new red brick cottage. Then, giving the couple his blessing, the angel went along down the road. Shortly thereafter, the rich man arose. He looked out of his window and saw a handsome new house of red brick standing out where the old hut had been. "Come and look," he called to his wife. The wife was as curious as the husband and went across the road at once and asked the poor man what had happened. He told the story of the wanderer and the 3 wishes he had granted. When the man finished his tale, the rich man's wife ran home and told her husband. "Ah, had I only known it," he exclaimed. "The stranger came here first, but I turned him away." "Hurry then," cried the wife. "Mount your horse, and perhaps you may overtake him. Tell him you meant to let him stay. Then you may ask 3 wishes for yourself." The rich man followed this advice and soon overtook the good angel. He begged him not to think ill of him, and saying that he had gone to get his key for the door and returned, and the wanderer was gone. If only the angel had come back, he would have been welcome to stay. The angel promised he would stop at the rich man's house on his return. Then the rich man asked if he might not have 3 wishes as his good neighbor had. "Yes," said the angel, "you may, but it will not be good for you, and it would be better if you did not wish." But the rich man was sure he wanted the wishes. So the angel said, "Ride home, and your wishes will be granted." The rich man was satisfied as he rode home afterwards. He began to consider what he should wish. While he was thinking, he let the reins of the reins of his horse fall loose, and his horse stumbled, so the man nearly fell. "You dumb beast," he cried out. "I wish you would break your neck." And he had no sooner said this that the horse fell to the ground and never moved again. Thus the rich man's first wish was fulfilled. The rich man, being thrifty by nature, would not leave the saddle behind. He cut it off and slung it over his back and traveled back by foot. "I still have 2 wishes," he thought to himself, and so was comforted. As he walked slowly homeward, the sun became very hot, the saddle hurt his back, and besides, he had not yet decided what to wish for next. "Even if I should wish for all the riches in the world," he said to himself, "something else will occur to me later. I must manage to make a wish so that nothing at all shall remain left for me to wish for. As he walked along, the sun grew hotter, and the saddle rubbed his back until it was sore as a burn. Then he thought of how his wife sat comfortably at home in a cool room. This thought angered him, and without knowing it, he said aloud, I wish she was sitting on this saddle and I could get off. Uh, as soon as he spoke these words, the saddle disappeared from his back, and he realized that his second wish had been fulfilled. Cursing himself for a fool, he hurried home, determined to lock himself in his room, and consider his last wish. But when he arrived home, he found his wife sitting on the saddle in mid-air, weeping and wailing because she could not get off. Stop your crying, he said to her. I will wish for all the riches in the world, only if you keep sitting there. But his wife only wailed louder, saying, of what use are all the riches in the world if I have to sit on the saddle? You wish me on it. Now you must wish me off. So she made so much racket that the man thought his ears would burst. All right, I will wish you get off. Then there went his third wish. His wife was free, but the rich man gained nothing from the wishes except worry, trouble, scolding, and a dead horse. But the poor couple lived contented and happy to the end of their days.